In this video, I'd like to show you how to add charts into Microsoft Word 08 for the Mac. So here I already have a frequency distribution set up into a table. If you need help with that, you can check out a different video or come see me. But if we want to add a chart, we just click here on Charts. Then we need to choose which type of chart we want. So if we want to do a histogram, we might think that this is a bar graph. Now the bars go sideways, so let's try column. I'll just pick a clustered column. And it automatically opens up a spreadsheet where you can enter your data. Let's just resize this so we can see what's going on. So let's just analyze this for a second. We have category 1, 2, 3, and 4 here on the left side, and you can see where that corresponds in your chart to the horizontal axis, all the values there. And so these are going to be your observed values. Now we also have series 1, 2, and 3, and you can see that these are the different bars right here. Now we're only going to have one series because we only asked one question. Now here it says to resize the chart data range, drag the lower right corner of range. And you can see here there is kind of a box around the range of data. If you go to the bottom right hand corner, you'll see this icon changes, so now you can click and drag to be our range. Okay, and you can see now it doesn't include series 2 or series 3. Now since we already made our frequency distribution here, we can just copy everything out of this table, and then you can paste it right here. And it automatically goes into our chart. Now you can see here the included range is now including 3 empty rows here, so we want to change this so it fits perfectly. And you can see it spaces our bars right there. So now we're pretty much done with our chart over here. We can either close it or just minimize it in case we need to go back and change it for later. Now let's work in the actual Word document. So if we click on the chart, in our formatting palette it opens up a bunch of different options. Right at the top it talks about the titles. And when you click on this, you can see we can have 3 different titles here. So one would be chart title, and you can change it right here. Notice you can also double click right here on the chart title, and then you can change it there. So we want to change this to the number of computers per OLU household. So we want to describe what this chart is talking about. Next, we want to label our horizontal axis, and these are your observed values. So this is just going to be the number of computers. You can see it changing down here. Next, we want to label our vertical axis. This is going to be the number of households. Okay. Now I like the way this is set up with the lines. Okay, you can have it not show certain things, but we want both of those for sure. And we can't choose the rest of these in a bar graph here. For grid lines, you could add vertical ones if you wanted. You could take away the horizontal ones. And then minor, you can add a bunch of little ones in if you want, or leave it off. I think visually it's easy enough to see right here. Next, we can have some other labels. We can actually label the data, but I think in this sort of chart we want to be able to visually see it, so we're going to leave labels at none. And for a histogram, we don't really need a legend either, so we can just do that. Another way you can do it is just to click on it and then delete it. Same thing. Alright, so now this is looking pretty good. You can change, of course, all the colors and how you view it. You can change all the shadows, mirror images and all that fun stuff if you would like. Now when we look at this histogram, one thing we talked about is that the bars need to be touching. So to get that, you want to just click on one of the bars, actually double click on it, and then you can see all the options for this, and this is called Format Data Series. So if you're on a PC, you want to look for Format Data Series. And go down to Options, and you want to change that gap width to 0%. And you can see that it changed right there. Now if the gap width doesn't change, it means you have a different version than what I'm working with, and you might have to increase your overlap also. And if you put it to 100%, then it should fix your problem. So here we have a nice histogram. Now if you're dealing with classes, you could either choose to put your class marks here as your observed values, or if you have a range, you could also put your range here. So if your question called for 0 through 4, (5 through 9), okay. Notice it might change it to a date, in which case you would want to select your column, okay. Right click, Format Cells, and then under Number, I usually just choose Text, so it takes exactly what I type in. 5 through 9, 10 through 14. Okay, just gives you an idea of what you can see there. And when we look at our chart here, now you can see it has the ranges centered below your bars. So I think that looks pretty nice. It's probably a little more helpful than putting the class midpoints right there. Now let's say if you wanted to change this and you didn't like the bar graph look, you can change your chart type very easily. Just select the chart, then come back up here, and then you can pick any other type of chart. Let's say we want a line graph or frequency polygon. Click on Line, and then choose whichever one. And you'll see it makes a nice line graph very quickly and easily. One other thing is you might want to try a pie chart. And they have lots of different options here. Okay, here it's kind of an expanded pie chart. Here's more traditional. This one's a little hard to see the colors, and you automatically lose your values. So what you want to do is you have to make sure that the labels are present here. So maybe you do category name and percent. Then it shows you the range as well as the percentage. It calculates all the angle degrees for you. And another thing you might want to try is to use a legend. It's kind of hard with these colors. If you change the colors like this, it might be a little bit easier to see. So you can just play around with this, whether you want to show the values or the percentages, just to get the graph to look exactly the way you'd like it.